What's going on YouTube? So as you know, the K5 was an all-new nameplate for the Kia brand, replacing the Optima, and it followed in the footsteps of the Telluride as well as the Stinger. Now, on its third model year, we have some small updates on board that continue to make this an even stronger product. But with really tough competition out there, is this the best midsize sedan for you and your family? Let's jump right in and find out. So one of the big highlights of the K5, in my opinion, has always been the exterior design and how it looks. It's got a very aggressive and frankly good looking design in my opinion. That's going to start up here in the front. Now there's going to be basically two different versions of the front end design that you can get. You've got this kind of standard version, which is available on your non-sport trims, including the EX that we're looking at today. And then on the GT line and the GT model, they have a more aggressive version. That's going to give you a different version of the Tiger nose that's more narrow, fully blacked out, and give you a more aggressive lower fascia as well. Now, speaking of the trim levels, I do want to mention an update for 2023, and that's actually the elimination of the base LX trim level. I don't think very many people pick that anyways, but that's no longer offered, so you're going to start with the LXS trim level. Let's carry on this front end tour with the headlights. You are going to have standard LED headlights on every version. They're normally reflector LEDs, but on this EX, we've got the optional premium package, which gives you projector LED headlights. Very premium look to these with the 4 crystals. We also have our signature amber daytime running light and turn signal indicator. And if you want LED fog lamps, you can get those by choosing the GT line or the GT model. As we move around to our wheels, you'll continue to have these same wheel options for 2023. That's going to start out with a 16-inch alloy. However, all the rest of the trim levels have at least 18-inch alloy wheels, including this EX trim level. As you can see, we've got a cool contrast design, which has these little elements, including this kind of dash, which matches with the rear tail lights, which you'll see in just a little bit. You also can get 19-inch alloys on the GT model. As we move above here and take a look at our mirrors, you're going to have standard heating as well as standard blind spot monitoring. And if you want power folding, that is available in the premium package on the EX trim level and GT.
All right, so here at the side, I want to mention the length of the K5 before I get into some of those design elements. We're looking at 193.1 inches, and if you're curious as to how that fits into the segment of midsize sedan, well, that's going to be right on par with that of the Honda Accord, Toyota Camry, and Hyundai Sonata. So very similar length figure. Now, as far as some of the design elements, like I was mentioning, we do actually have several different things going on here at this side. So the lower window arch or moldings are going to be finished in black. However, the upper ones are going to be a nice chrome finish, and that's intentional because it's going to go all the way around into the back and kind of curve around the vehicle in one continuous piece. And as far as the design itself is concerned, there are some unique elements. I know Drew just looked at it, but you have this part of the trunk that's fully blacked out, which makes it look like the window goes back further than it actually does and kind of gives it a sportback look, influenced by, of course, the bigger brother Kia Stinger Sportback. Now, as far as the rear design itself, for 2023 is not going to see any changes. Of course, is a very nice design. We have our new Kia logo right here in the middle. We also do have a blacked out spoiler if you go for a GT line or GT model. And then let's take a look at the taillights. These are going to be the premium version of the K5 taillights. So as you can see, we do have a really neat dash design all the way through the entire rear. It's one continuous piece. And like I said, these are the premium versions. So they're going to be standard on GT line, GT, or optional on this EX trim level. And that's going to include the LED brake light as well. However, you have an incandescent turn signal and reverse light. Now, if we drop down to the lower areas, you will notice we have some nice black plastic going through here. We also do have some faux exhaust pipes for the EX model. Now, if you want to get spicier, you can get the GT model, which will actually have quad exhaust outlets, and they're going to be real. All right, now it's time to talk about your safety systems and the warranty information for the K5. Now, for your safety systems, I am a little bit disappointed to tell you that you don't have all of them as standard equipment. You have 3 out of 4 of them. It's going to include forward emergency braking with pedestrian detection, auto high beam headlamps, as well as lane keeping assist. That said, adaptive cruise control is going to be optional on some of the higher end K5 models, so it's not going to be one of those things that's thrown in on all of the models, which something like Camry as well as Honda Accord do include as standard equipment. Now, as far as your warranty information is concerned, you're looking at Kia's signature warranty, 5-year 60,000 mile basic warranty, 10-year 100,000 mile powertrain warranty. Unlike Hyundai though, you do not have complimentary maintenance. Well guys, that's all for the exterior design of this 2023 K5. Now let's go ahead and hop onto the inside before we take it out in a spin.
So walking up to the 2023 K5, you will notice on this trim level the mirrors fold out as you approach the vehicle. And here is the brand's typical key fob. It is standard smart entry across all the trim levels, and you do also have remote start built in. And then to get inside the vehicle itself, there's not a sensor behind the door, so you just press the black button. And there's a quick look inside the cabin. We'll go ahead and climb inside. Now before we talk about the cabin as a whole, let's go ahead and go over our interior color and material choices. So the new base trim level, the LXS, is going to come with cloth seating. Going for the GT line, that's going to get you a cloth and leatherette combination seat. And then when you choose the EX trim level or the GT model, that's going to get you a leatherette seat, full leatherette seat. And as you can see, this is finished in black. You do also have an ash color option for the EX trim level. The leatherette feels pretty realistic. You've got nice perforation on board and good stitching details throughout. Nice and comfortable as well. Now as far as the seat controls themselves, they are going to be 10-way power adjusting with 2-way lumbar support on all but the base model. And moving up here to our door trim, you're going to notice leatherette along the armrest portion. You have leatherette all through the middle section. And then on the EX trim level, we do have this faux wood accenting, which you'll see all throughout the cabin. Soft touch along the top. 2-person memory seating on this EX with the premium package. All 4 of the windows are one-touch automatic. Above the gauge cluster, this is going to be a hard touch plastic. However, all the rest of the upper dash is finished in a soft touch plastic with a stitching detail. Again, generous use of this faux wood trim, which actually looks very nice. Kia does a great job of making this very realistic, even to the touch. And then finally, as we go down, you'll notice some piano black accents, although there's no leather along the console tunnel. Now start it up, put your foot on the brake, and press the standard button. So taking a look here at our gauge cluster, as you can see, this is a more traditional style unit. It is analog with the 4.2-inch multifunction display right there in the middle. You cannot, in the United States at least, get a full digital gauge cluster on any version of the K5. And you also don't have the availability of a head-up display, which a few of this vehicle's rivals do have available. Now as we pull back to the steering wheel, we've got the latest Kia design on board. Nice leather wrapping on all but the base LXS trim level. Of course, the wheel itself is going to be manual, tilt, and telescoping. And then you do also get steering wheel heating on the all-wheel drive version of the GT line and above. But let's go ahead and dig into interior storage next. So as I turn over here to the center console, I'm quite impressed at the amount of storage I see inside. This is a very large center console. We do have a felt lining at the bottom. We also have a USB port inside. And let's go ahead and put it to the test by sticking in our coupons. We've got my least favorite kind of pizza right on top there, Little Caesars. Let us know in the comments below what your favorite kind of fast food pizza is. For me, it's definitely not Little Caesars. Hope I didn't offend anybody. Anyways, here's the wireless phone charging pad. This is standard on GT line as well. You just slide your phone down that slot. We do have our 2 cup holders, and up in the front you have another storage area right there, 2 more USBs, and a 12-volt outlet. So actually quite a lot of storage for a midsize sedan. Now as we pull back to the shifter, we've kept things traditional with the traditional style shifter as well. Pull back for drive, bump over here to the left if you want to shift manually. However, if you want paddle shifters, only the high performance GT trim level will offer those. And then when we head into reverse, you are going to see this 360-degree camera system pop up if you've upgraded to the premium package on the EX trim level or the GT model. As you can see, really nice 360 camera. You've got both the overhead view and your back view, front and rear parking sensors, active trajectory, and also the mirrors do tilt down when in reverse to help you see the parking lines better. And then back behind the shifter, you've got your electronic parking brake as well as your brake hold function. Now back behind the shifter, you have this little toggle. This is for your seat climate controls. So we are going to have heated seats standard on the GT line all-wheel drive and above, and then only this EX trim level has standard 3-stage ventilated seats as well. And then moving up to our general climate controls, we do have a dual zone automatic climate control system standard on every single version of the K5. Very nice and simple to use. As you can see, you just have some knobs and some simple buttons right down there that you can physically control, all finished in a nice piano black. And next up, let's go ahead and rise on up here to our volume knob and talk about the audio systems. So every single trim level will come standard with a 6-speaker sound system. That being said, available on the EX and the GT models is the 12-speaker Bose premium sound system. That's what we have upgraded to on today's example, and we'll go ahead and give it a sample right now. Yeah, so overall sound quality is nice and rich, good bass, and overall, if you are a person that really appreciates a good audio system, I recommend this upgrade. Okay, so let's talk about the displays as the next thing. So the LXS, the new base trim level, that will continue to come with an 8-inch display. However, every single other trim level will come with this display you're looking at right now. This is a 10.25-inch display. As you can see, you do have some shortcut buttons along the side that you can use. And then overall, the display itself is quite large. You are just looking at the split screen functionality that this system has, or you can also collapse it and go to a full screen view for things like your navigation. Now, if you're not interested in using the built-in navigation system, I will point out that Android Auto and Apple CarPlay are both standard on both displays. However, on the big display, it is going to be a wired connection. The base model with the small display, that's going to run wirelessly. Rising up to the mirror, we do have a manual dimming one. I do believe you can get a accessory auto dimming mirror if you want one of those. Got some LED lighting, which is touch capacitive. And then up top, we have a nice feature that really adds a lot of light to the cabin. That is our panoramic sunroof. It actually included a standard equipment on our upper end trim levels, and you can also option this on to the GT line.
Alright guys, come on back here and join me in the Kia K5's rear area. Now, as you can just see by looking around this cabin, there's actually a lot of space and also a lot of features for this segment of vehicle. So let's talk about the space figures first. We're looking at 35.2 inches of legroom, 37.8 inches of headroom, which does actually place this as quite a bit behind the Toyota Camry as well as the Honda Accord. Although I've said it in previous Kia K5 reviews and Hyundai Sonata reviews, the space, I don't think it's that much different from a Camry or whatnot, because I'm 5'9". Drew's seating adjustment is adjusted for someone who's 5'8", and I still have probably, I'd say, 8 to 10 inches of space between my knees and the seat back. So really not that much tangible difference between those competitors, although spec-wise it is less. Now, as far as some of the features that you're going to get, let's go ahead and discuss some of that. So here in the center, we do have rear vents. That's going to be included if you go for an EX or GT trim level. As you can see, we do also have 2 charging USB ports. That's actually going to be standard equipment on the Kia K5. Now we also have seat back pockets for both of the seats, and then we can also fold down the center armrest that gives you 2 cup holders as well as a nice padded armrest. And turning to your door trim, the upper part is going to be a hard touch material. It's nicely grained though. I'm a big fan of this wood trim going through the door. The rest of it's going to be a nice leatherette, and we do have a nice leatherette armrest portion. Then at the very bottom we have a bottle holder. Now walking up to the cargo area of the K5, one thing I do want to point out is you do have the smart opening tailgate. I don't have the feature turned on right now, but if you just stand back here for a few seconds, the car will beep a few times and the tailgate will go ahead and release. Otherwise, you can just push the button, and as you can see, it is nicely dampened, so it's almost like having a full power trunk. Now, as far as the space itself is concerned, for the K5, we're looking at 16 cubic feet of cargo capacity, which is really good for this segment of vehicle. That actually bests the Toyota Camry. It's a little bit less than the Honda Accord. It's exactly the same as the Hyundai Sonata, so a good amount of space overall. Now, the seats do fold 60-40 split, and then we can also lift up the cargo floor, and underneath it there is a spare tire. Since we do have a fully loaded EX trim level, we do have a power adjusting passenger seat. We do even have a power lumbar support as well. It's going to be 2-way power lumbar support. Then as far as the coupons, let's go ahead and pop open the glove box. It's going to be a very similar size to what you've seen in other Kia products. As you can see, we do have some owner manuals in here. It's not going to be felt lined. That's not expected for this segment of vehicle, but it is a really nice size. So our coupons can fit in there perfectly fine, and today we're going to get the $3.89 cookie dough brownie. I really wish one of the subscribers would try one of these and tell me if it's any good. Please comment that in the comment section down below. I'm very curious. And up top we do have a sun visor. We have some illumination. It's incandescent illumination though. And we can also detach it as well as extend it out.
And there's an acceleration up to 60-ish miles an hour in this 2023 Kia K5. So in terms of the powertrain situation, it's going to be unchanged this year. That means all but that very top-end model, the GT, is going to come with the 1.6-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. It's going to be making 180 horsepower, 195 pound-feet of torque. Those are class competitive numbers. There's a few rivals that maybe make more horsepower, but I think what I really feel behind the wheel is the torque figure. That's a pretty good torque figure. When you punch it, you do feel it kind of push you back in the seat. And like I said, that's the most noticeable characteristic of the power.
Yeah. Now, of course, they do offer a higher end powertrain. The really cool K5 GT model, that's going to have a 2.5-liter turbo 4-cylinder, 290 horsepower, 311 pound-feet of torque. If you're familiar with the channel, we actually do own a Hyundai Sonata inline, which has that exact same motor. It's a really phenomenal powertrain. It's quick. Like, it will literally roast the front tires. That's how quick it is. So you really, if you're looking for the power, I would highly recommend getting the GT, but like Drew said, this is a perfectly fine powertrain combination for the segment of vehicle.
And speaking of roast the tires, that is one of the updates for 2023, the all-wheel drive system. There is an available all-wheel drive system, and that's going to be on just the GT line trim level as an option for 2023. It was previously available on a few other trim levels. I'm assuming the take rate on that was pretty low, and they consolidated that down to the GT line trim level. But the fact that it does have an available all-wheel drive system is a nice advantage because many of the rivals do not offer a all-wheel drive system, including its platform mate, the Hyundai Sonata. Yeah, like I was talking about with the torque, if you actually put your foot down from a stop, it definitely is enough torque to spin the front wheels a little bit, which is pretty impressive, like I said, for a standard engine. Let's also talk about the other aspect of the powertrain, and that's going to be the 8-speed automatic transmission. This is a good transmission, nice and responsive, very smooth. If you're driving normally, just kind of blends into the background, which is exactly what you want. But if you put your foot down, you do get that additional power quickly delivered to you. And that top-end turbo model is paired with a 8-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission instead.
And I do want to just mention a few different aspects about the driving experience. Now, we have talked a lot about the different powertrain elements, but I think really the most important part about the K5 is to be comfortable, especially if you don't pick a GT model. And it really does do a good job of that. This is a mid-size sedan at heart, and that being said, it is quite comfortable. We have large 18-inch wheels on this particular model. It soaks up the bumps as well as you would expect anything in the segment to do. So I really have no complaints in terms of the ride quality. It does a good job.
Yeah, and it also is pretty agile and light feeling on its feet. As we're kind of here on a country road, I'm observing that, like Mason said, even though sport is not the main focus, especially not in the EX trim level, you still have a good feel, nice stable control as you go around corners, not much body roll at all. The steering is fast and responsive, so overall, it is quite pleasant to drive on a back road.
Alright, once we get up to speed here, I'll get our sound level reading. Wow. Really, really impressive. 55.2 is what I was sitting at for a sound level reading. That's really, really good, guys. We tested a lot of cars on this loop, and a lot of luxury cars are sitting right around that same figure. So, very, very impressive cabin noise level in the K5. Now, I also do want to mention your fuel economy. So, with the front-wheel drive 1.6-liter turbo, aka what we have today, it's going to be sitting at 31 miles a gallon combined. If you go for all-wheel drive, that reduces that down to 28 mpg. And then if you go for the fully loaded GT model with the most performance, that's going to be sitting at 27 mpg. Alrighty, and now it is time for one of our signature elements, our airball and slam dunk for the 2023 K5. I'll kick us off with the slam dunk and just say that this vehicle overall has a really exceptional value quotient. We'll get into the pricing in just a second, but this fully loaded EX model really has a great price on it. Now, yes, there are some dealers that are charging markups. That's going on really everywhere in the country across all of the brands, and it may be location specific for you, but at least as far as the sticker price is concerned, that's all we can look at today. That's not geographically based. You're getting a really good deal for that sticker price on the K5.
Now, as far as the airball is concerned, we're just going to say that there's a couple features that are kind of weirdly mixed between the trim levels. I know that's kind of a strange airball, but there's like a few features that the availability is just kind of on a certain trim. I would kind of expect that it would be on more trim levels, or it's kind of just on the different trim level than what I would have expected. Yeah. It's a little bit weird, but if you shopped around with this vehicle, you probably would have recognized that there might be some features that you expect to see that aren't available on that specific trim level.
Alright, let's go ahead and talk about that price. As I just alluded to a little bit ago, the LXS is going to start at $25,090 for 2023. It's about a $400 price increase this model year, so a lot of brands are doing more than that. So that's good that there's not a huge price bump this year. And then as we go up the trim levels, you go all the way up to the GT, which starts at $31,490 at a starting point. This tester today, as I mentioned, is pretty much fully loaded up. So we have an EX. We also have the pretty pricey EX premium package at $3,600. That's going to throw in a ton of different things, plus a few accessories and the destination charge of $1,095. We're looking at $34,285.
But overall, for its third model year on the market, the K5 continues to be a very impressive midsize sedan. I really feel that Kia has done a great job of, combining and picking features, value, space, basically the things that really matter to the average customer in the midsize segment, and really making that great mixture overall.
Well, guys, thanks so much for tuning in to this in-depth review of the 2023 Kia K5 EX. If you found this video helpful in your purchasing decisions, we would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't already, and also tap the notification bell. All it's going to do is give you a few notifications on our most recent videos, and watching those videos helps us to get access to cooler cars to show you all. So it's really a circular thing. Also, follow us on TikTok and Instagram. Check out our merch store, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.